Hello folks, Paul here, UK Rails and More. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. In this episode I was going to cover three things really. Firstly, just to have a look at the Viaduct and some new ideas for that, which I'm very grateful for. Secondly is to just have a look at the merits really of searching through old boxes and old stuff, things that you've got hidden away in the loft, because I found a couple of real gems that I'm going to be using on this layout. And then thirdly was just talking about a system for how I'm going to get some trains running on this thing as well, just in the meantime while I build the modules. I've had a few new ideas with that. So if you like the sound of that, I'll put a bit of Peak Forest running in as well, just to add to it. And then I'll bring you back in a bit. Bye for now. Okay folks, so first of all, Project Viaduct. Yeah, I'd like to just say thank you very much to everyone who left comments on the last video. To anyone who's not seen that, I basically asked for any information, any feedback people could give and ideas on what they thought of some of the plans for this viaduct section that I've got here. And I got loads of people put comments and I was really grateful for that, so thank you. Some of them I've been able to actually incorporate. If I've not incorporated any ideas, then I've certainly tucked away a lot as well that I may well be using on some of the other modules as I do them. But yeah, this emphasises a bit the problem I had and why I put that little building in. You've got the structure of the bridge underneath, or the viaduct underneath there, and it was how to obscure that really rather than taking it up and rebuilding it. With hindsight, a marvellous thing, but I'd have probably made the structure more in line with the actual visual effect of that viaduct. But yeah, one of the ideas I'd got, thanks to John for this one as well, was to actually use some foliage and trees which may well fit better for this kind of more rural or suburban semi-rural setting anyway. And I'd not thought of that originally, and I do agree it definitely would work better. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Maybe some stuff, a few trees carefully placed, obviously darken the inside of there as well. Possibly just do a background green browny colour, and I think that should obscure it really well. Another thing as well that was pointed out in the last video, which is something that's really useful again, was just the arches and the way they run. So I've been able to build up the inside of the arch there. Obviously that just needs detailing, and then on the other one as well. But really the way I'd had it originally was that effectively the insides would run straight across the line, 90 degrees to the line, which, as you can see from this shot, would have effectively put the road on a course to go to kind of converge into the actual line, which is not ideal. And realistically, they're more likely to go off in parallel to this. So again, thanks very much for the heads up with that one, John. That's really useful. So yeah, I've been able to do those, and I think it looks better, the overall effect. And now it's got a bit of, you can see there's a bit more 3D to it. So yeah, that was really useful. And the other bits of advice a couple of people came up with as well was really that, you know, not overdoing this scene. And I did actually get to a point where, for those who don't know, my former layout was in N-gauge. And I think going from N-gauge to 00, your heads are thinking in N-gauge as well to an extent. So this stretch of land, I was originally going to have a field, and then also a bit of a yard area with network rail, that kind of thing going on. And when you look at it, it's only actually, if I just bring this one out, it's only about 2 coach or 2 locomotives in length. So it would be a remarkably small field, whereas obviously in N-gauge that's going to be a bit more like 4 or more maybe. So yeah, it was a case of less is more, I think was what someone said. So yeah, really useful for that, thanks. So yeah, this scene, what I'm going to do with this now is more going to be a bit more of a wasteland area, or possibly a field with a couple of horses in it, something like that. Not finally decided that. And then that kind of hard standing area, I've just made that a bit smaller. So I probably will still have a couple of vehicles, maybe a couple of network rail vehicles, or, you know, somewhat similar. but yeah, I've tried to just sort of tone that down, that little area a bit. And I think really to make more of a feature of the actual viaduct itself, just trying to recalibrate scale wise, really working from N to 00. So yeah, thanks very much. I've got a bit of work to do on this just to get the various scatter materials and everything. But again, thanks very much for all the tips that everyone was able to give. That's a really real benefit from YouTube being about really this time doing this layout. So yeah, I'll bring you back for another little update. Bye for now. The other just idea for this scene is that this road now is going to go off to parallel the lines effectively, and then I thought it'd be interesting just as a bit of an added feature to add a bit of a gradient there, so that road is going uphill as well. Just to show you, I think it demonstrates this a bit easier really, just by taking these out. So yeah, those are the backs. So rather than going straight out, they're actually going out at an angle, the two of them together. It's quite tricky to do. It is quite tricky to do those, but through a bit of perseverance, cutting, and then using that insulation tape, you can just adjust them to get them pretty much in line, a decent angle there. Okay folks, welcome back. So yeah, looking around in some old boxes and I came across this gem. It's a Hornby from years ago, Flying Scotsman. So you can see the dust on there. It's not particularly been boxed particularly well, unfortunately, but it's all safe and it needs a good clean up. And I've just checked it and it does just about run, so I think a decent bit of maybe WD-40 or a bit of oil as well should loosen it all up, and I think once it's had a nice run it should be good. So yeah, it just shows you that'll use that on the preservation railway, or the preservation module that I'm going to do, and that will be running along with a few specials. One quick question, if anyone knows the answer, I don't know, there's an issue, I've not decided yet whether I'm going to be using fine scale track. I don't suppose anyone would know whether this would actually would work with fine scale track. If not, it might just be an issue I take into account with it. I've not decided yet which track system to use. Moving Flying Scotsman just out of the way slightly, and then I've also found these a load of old wagons, which again you see the odd one, maybe not with coal in, but I don't know, but you see the odd ones knocking about. Preservation railways, just parts up on a siding maybe. I suppose you could even run them with a small train, I don't know, an 08 shunting them about, something just for a bit of visual look with the wagons running. So I'm pleased with those, they'll come in handy. And then this little kit build as well, which is a nice thing to just have knocking about. So yeah, a few more wagons, Flying Scotsman, and a few coaches. So another find was this Lima Deltic. which is quite a good find from many years ago. So yeah, that'll have a home on the preservation line. And then also there's 3 of these teak coaches, so they'll come in handy as well. Already got a few of the old Bachmann coaches, but these will certainly be good for the preservation line as well. So there's 3 of those. And then additionally I found these, so Southern Hornby models. The roof does look pretty yellow and weathered actually, but yeah, thought they perhaps have a bit of a clean up as well. That's filthy at the end there with cobwebs and all sorts on it, so need a good clean up, and then they'll be handy for the preservation layout as well. So yeah, well worth having a check through lofts, old places, see some old gems, but particularly pleased with that Flying Scotsman. That's a really good find. If I can get that running as well on a train, so as a bit of a special, then that'll be ideal as well. So yeah, I'll bring you back for a bit of a chat about my plan for how I'm going to get some running done on this one as well. Speak to you in a bit. Okay folks, so yeah, for those of you who know, are already aware from previous videos, my plan is to make a number of these modules. Basically they're about 4 foot by 3 foot. They're designed to come apart as well, albeit with a bit of work really, so that they could potentially go in a loft layout one day. The idea is that they will be different modules with different themes effectively. But what I did think of was a way to actually get a system where I can actually run some trains on the individual modules that can be connected at either end, basically. And the idea I had was actually having another 2 modules, similar kind of size. In fact, they don't need to be that size. They can actually be, they could be a bit smaller potentially. But with an idea that in the interim, whilst I'm developing them, effectively on the end there, I'd have one of the lines would actually loop around on itself and then would turn around and then it would actually reconnect here. So effectively I'd have a loop from that line that would connect onto this one. So I don't know how well I'm explaining that. It should be fairly straightforward, but basically the idea is the train would go up in that direction, and then it's going to turn around on a loop on the other board to then come back on itself, and then again I'll have another loop at the end. So effectively this you'd have one train would be going that way and then coming back the other way, and it would be able to just continually run like that as well. So I could do some filming from different angles, and then using the same board actually have these lines from the end doing exactly the same thing. So you'd have one loop above and one loop below, and that was the best kind of thing that I could think of that would be quite easy to connect just as an interim. Now obviously in reality, you know, you'd have for the quarry trains, if I've got quarry trains on the top, you'd have full ones going in both directions or empty ones going in both directions, which obviously in reality you just have the empties going back up and the full ones coming back down. But yeah, no major thing. If it means I could get some trains running and potentially do a bit of train running in the garden as well, that would allow us to get some outdoor running done where we can make the most of that natural light. So yeah, that was my idea for that. So just get a bit of train running, which at the moment just a very short line. but it's a nice smooth run of that. That's Bachmann, even considering the track's a bit dirty. Rail freight distribution, the Sapper. So yeah, hope you like the sound of that. Let me know what you think, and I'll bring you back for another update very soon. Bye for now.